Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at noon.
We start with the breaking news alert. A 30-year-old man is now in jail after police say he dug up a grave at Sunset Memorial Gardens in South Fargo. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jordan Schreier. Police arrested 30-year-old Jordan Lee Schweitzer after admitting to digging up the grave just before 6 last night. Schweitzer is facing a charge of disturbing a human burial site, which is a C felony. Valley News Live reporter Callie Hubbard was the first on scene, and she joins us live from Sunset Memorial Gardens with more on this story. Callie, what do we know?
Yes, hi Jordan. I've been here at the cemetery for nearly 3 hours now. If you take a look with me, I'll show you just where Jordan Lee Schweitzer dug up Joshua Nelson's grave. Now, as you can see right here, now they actually ended up putting dirt back on this, but he actually ended up digging all the way to the vault, which is about 3 feet underneath right here. And if you take a look this way, this is the tombstone. Now, Schweitzer actually ended up damaging his picture a little bit right here, and he actually ended up chipping the top of the tombstone right here as well. Now, he actually did not end up getting to the remains, as police have indicated that he did not get to the remains. But when we got here at 9 a.m. this morning, there were cones around the grave, and there was actually plywoods covering the vault as well. At 10 a.m., members of the cemetery started putting dirt back over the grave and placing Joshua's tombstone back onto the gravesite as well. Although this hasn't been confirmed yet, some people have said Schweitzer has struggled with mental health issues. We do not know the exact reason why this exact tombstone was targeted. We're going to stick with Valley News Live as we determine why exactly this grave was targeted. Reporting live in South Fargo, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
All right. Thank you very much, Callie. And new at noon, a 31-year-old man is now in jail after police say he pointed a gun at a vehicle and then continued to follow them. Officials say around 8:45 last night, Grand Forks County deputies were dispatched to a call near Arvilla, North Dakota. The caller said a vehicle pulled up along their vehicle and then pointed a pistol at them. The 911 caller says the vehicle tailgated and followed them for miles. Police say the suspect was later identified as a 31-year-old Roman Schmidt of Arvilla. Deputies say a loaded pistol was found on him. He was placed under arrest on suspicion of terrorizing and carrying a concealed weapon. It was quite the wake-up call for people in the region this morning. Now, this is what it looked like before some storms rolled into the metro. Many were able to capture these pictures of shelf clouds. And if you have any photos that you want to send in, just go to valleynewslive.com and click on the Upload Photo tab on the right side of that screen. Taking that live look outside right now, it is calmer than it was around 6:30 this morning, but you still see some raindrops on that Storm Team Skycam. For what we can expect for the rest of our day, let's check in with meteorologist Lisa Green.
Yeah, this system is not done with us yet. We're dealing with still some rain and some redevelopment happening, with instability still sticking around here in the valley. That first line of storms that blasted through this morning kind of outran the circulation, and now we're seeing that in southeastern North Dakota, triggering a few showers as we're warming things up today. Just want to mention too, there's a clearing line around Devils Lake and western Stutsman County, and gradually that'll be moving eastward. But before then, anywhere ahead of it or underneath the clouds, we could see some showers, basically Highway 2 and south from there. So you can see some yellows and oranges and reds on the map here, indicating moderate to even some heavier rainfall happening now, stretching from around Ada back through north of the in the northern end of the Fargo-Moorhead area, and then back down into the Oaks region and over toward Lemoore, seeing some of that heavier rain coming down. And at times we have had a couple of lightning bolts. And from this morning, just want to mention that same area that's seeing the rain again also saw some severe weather, Richland County specifically. We had some branches taken down there around the Kindred area, south of Kindred, 3 to 5 inch diameter tree branches taken down at a farmstead, some dime-sized hailstones there, and then another report of hail 1 inch in diameter around the Winemere area. So we could see a little more of that as this continues to influence our weather today. Gradual improvements, though. We'll talk about that in your hour-by-hour planner and take a look at that hot weekend ahead, too.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. The Fargo Police Department is warning the public about a high-risk sex offender now living on the north side of town. 32-year-old Jordan Earring is now living at 735 14th Street North. That's just a few blocks from a soccer complex and close to where lots of college students live. Earring was convicted in 2006 for gross sexual imposition. His victim was a 15-year-old girl. The Catholic Diocese of Fargo says a priest is suspended after a woman claims she told the church more than a year ago that she was sexually abused as a teenager in the 1970s. The diocese released a statement on Monday confirming the suspension after the woman told KFGO News that she was inappropriately touched by Reverend Jack Huron at St. Anthony's Church. The diocese says Huron was retired and serving as a hospital chaplain outside the diocese when these allegations were reported. He's not being allowed to carry out his work as a priest pending the outcome of an investigation. And the Catholic Diocese of New Ulm, Minnesota has reached a $34 million settlement in its bankruptcy case with 93 people who say they were sexually abused by priests. An attorney representing many of the survivors says the settlement includes a contribution of $8 million from the diocese and its parishes, with the rest coming from insurance carriers. In a complicated ruling, the Supreme Court issued a blow to the Trump administration on the 2020 U.S. Census citizenship question. The High Court also declined to rule in another case that could have wide-ranging political implications. Natalie Brand has more from the Supreme Court.
In a complicated ruling, the Supreme Court has blocked the citizenship question from the 2020 census for now. The High Court is sending the issue back to the Commerce Department for technical reasons, saying the agency's explanation for adding the question was inadequate. The justices heard 80 minutes of arguments on the case in April. Administration lawyers called the citizenship question reasonable, even though it has not been a part of the survey since 1950. The government arguing it needed the citizenship information to enforce the Voting Rights Act. Then in early June, the American Civil Liberties Union urged the court to send the census case back to a lower court to reconsider new evidence. New York and Maryland federal judges are looking over documents that allege a now deceased GOP redistricting strategist, Thomas Hoffler, helped orchestrate the question with the Trump administration to create an electoral advantage for Republicans and non-Hispanic whites. 3 lower courts sided with opponents of the citizenship question. They argued millions of people would not respond to the census out of fear the question will be used against them. The lack of responses could affect how federal money is allocated and could determine how many representatives each state gets in Congress, and could eventually give Republicans a bigger electoral advantage. In another decision announced today, the justices ruled 5-4 that the longtime practice of partisan gerrymandering should not be decided by federal courts. Lower courts had found that congressional district maps drawn in Maryland and North Carolina went too far in benefiting one political party over the other. Critics say the ruling may embolden more states to engage in partisan redrawing of district maps. The High Court has previously ruled states cannot redraw districts to disadvantage racial minorities. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
Chief Justice John Roberts read the majority opinion for the gerrymandering case, saying states and Congress should decide on their district maps. Coming up here at noon, learn more about the new procedure doctors are using to treat spinal tumors and how it's changing the fight against cancer. But next, Lisa Green is in as she continues to track some rainy weather and storms that moves through the region.